Hello, welcome to Coming Full Circle. This is Kambiz Naficy, spiritual guide and meditation master. I'm going to be your 10,000-year-old grandfather, and I will walk you through total cleansing of any self-limiting beliefs like I'm not good enough, any self-limiting emotions like shame, guilt, anxiety, worry, and any self-limiting behavior like self-sabotage. In order for us to go through a complete healing process, I'm going to walk you through the coming full circle process of healing. You can find out a lot more detail in the video description about the more detailed comprehensive course. But let us begin with your childhood home. This is where you got formed. Here's the history of mankind, womankind. You are born as a baby into a home with some adult caretakers. Those adult caretakers have already been programmed because they used to be children. So when you are born into that home, you are facing one or two or several adults that have beliefs, behaviors, thoughts, outlooks on life. And guess what? As a child, when you're born, you don't have any software programs up here. So you are totally trusting, you are totally innocent. You are watching your parents, your adult caretakers. You are watching what they believe in, how they talk, how they behave, their outlooks on life, even how deserving they feel that they are. You are picking all this up and you are taking it in as if their reality is your reality. So my very first question to you, which of your parents' beliefs, outlooks, behaviors, and values did you totally believe, absorb, take in, and which one of those are you using to process your reality today? To be healthy, you need to cut your umbilical cord. You need to develop your own set of beliefs, behaviors, and values in order to feel healthy, free, and spontaneous. Let's keep going. Who are the children who have solid self-confidence? Here's the answer. As a child, you don't know whether you're beautiful, intelligent, funny, or deserving. The only choice you have from birth to the age of 7 or 9 is to look in the mirror of your parents' eyes. You're sitting there at the breakfast table. Whether you knew it or not, you are gazing into the eyes of your adult caretakers. That is the mirror of the parents' eyes. If in that mirror you saw a beautiful reflection of yourself, then today you're one of the luckiest people on earth because you have natural self-confidence, self-worth. In other words, the highest source of self-confidence comes from the message, I love you because of exactly who you are and what you are. You don't need to marry a specific type of person. I don't care which career you adopt. I don't care which school you go to. I love you exactly for who and what you are. That is the source of self-confidence and self-worth. So if you have a kid yourself, that is the message that makes them whole, wholesome, joyous, and spontaneous. Now, if looking at your parents or adult caretakers' eyes, you did not get that unconditional type of acknowledgement and love, don't worry, I will be giving you tons of techniques for reprogramming any negativity that got lodged in your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind, which is controlling 80% of your life right now, is a reservoir of your oldest beliefs, emotions, and conditioned behaviors. We will have a video specifically dedicated to the subconscious mind so you can understand what the subconscious is, how to access it, and how to reprogram it. If you didn't get unconditional love, if you didn't see a beautiful image of yourself in the parents' eyes, you may have developed a very, very challenging emotion, which John Bradshaw called toxic shame. Toxic shame is that undescribable dark feeling of I am not enough, there's something wrong with me, I am flawed and I cannot be fixed, I am just not good enough. We will have a specific video on toxic shame so you can understand it and see through it. Living in your childhood home, you had to develop what we call coping mechanisms. In other words, what coping mechanism, what defense mechanism did you have to build around you to survive some of the things, some of the unbearable things going on in your childhood home? Maybe one of your siblings was a bully. Maybe your dad drank. Maybe your mom always had migraine headaches. Maybe they had marital problems and you were the referee. There was something going on in your childhood home that was a big challenge for you, the child. You had to develop a coping mechanism in order to survive those or that difficult circumstance. It could have been a financial bankruptcy. So here's one of my questions for you in this first video. What coping mechanisms did you develop in order to survive some of the more challenging circumstances at home or grade school or high school even? Okay? Come up with those. Whatever coping mechanism you develop, you might still be hanging on to those. So which of your childhood coping mechanisms are you still using in an unconscious way? See, the problem us humans have is we lose mindfulness. We forget to be aware. So a lot of the conditioning that we adopted growing up, we are still using the early childhood conditioning. We're still processing daily reality through the beliefs, habits of our parents and their values. All right. Now, other than coping mechanisms, I'm going to ask you this question. If you did not receive unconditional love, how did you buy love when you were growing up in your early childhood home? Buying love means always having straight A's in your report card, being an angel child, or the rebellious child who totally backed off and ignored the parents' values and what they were teaching. There were things you did to cope, and there were things you did to buy love. Some of the well-known mechanisms or ways that children buy love is to be good, to not ask for your needs, to be the perfect child, to get straight A's on the report card, to help mom clean the house, to tidy up your room, or to watch the evening news with dad so that you appear to be extremely wise and adult, or to be fantastic in sports because dad wanted to be wonderful in baseball, tennis, football. He got injured, so now he wants his child to live out the sports fantasy or the businessman fantasy that the dad did not get to live. Daughters, by the way, often have to act out the fantasy that mom did not get to live out. For example, if your mom did not have true romance, she might be stepping into your boundaries when you go out on a date. I have heard in counseling sessions, I've heard from daughters who say, you know, whenever I used to come back from a high school date, my mom would ask you, how does he kiss? Does he French kiss or not? These are moms who never got to live their own romance. There are dads who buy convertible red sports cars at the age of 66, and then they go to their granddaughter's party and insist on taking the granddaughter's junior high school friends home with their own red convertible. They are living out an unlived life when they should have been living a full life. Now, let's keep going. What I was just talking about was healthy boundaries. If you grew up with an adequate amount of unconditional love. You learn to develop some personal boundaries, an inner life. Children need space in order to get to know who they are, their boundaries, their body, their level of risk-taking ability. Children need to test out their courage, their creativity. When there's a lot of dysfunction going on in your childhood home, you are so absorbed by mom's migraine or your parents' marital fights or bankruptcies or alcoholism. There's such drama going on in your life that you cannot focus on your inner boundaries. You cannot develop an inner life. Therefore, as a dysfunctional adult now, you don't have an inner life. So ask yourself these questions. Can I say no as an adult to inappropriate requests from my friends, from my family? Can I say no, even politely? Do I have a personal life? Do I enjoy sweet solitude? Do I enjoy my own presence? Do I confuse sweet solitude with loneliness? They are not the same. People who got to develop a self, an inner life, they find that inner life to be delicious. They look forward to sweet solitude. They can rent a cabin up in the mountains on a rainy weekend with a great book and a fireplace, and they will thoroughly enjoy the time spent with the self. If you confuse that scenario with loneliness, that's okay. I will be teaching you meditation. I'll be teaching you prayer. I'll be teaching you positive affirmations that go and reprogram any kind of lack of self-worth, self-love that you may have developed as a software program in your subconscious mind. Speaking of the subconscious, as you're listening to me right now, 80% of your entire life is being controlled by a layer of your mind that you cannot see or access. This is called the subconscious mind. It is much more powerful than your intellectual mind. All your values, all your beliefs, all of your oldest emotions and memories are now lodged in your subconscious mind. Don't worry about understanding the subconscious. I am going to show you an entire video on the subconscious. So stay tuned into the channel. We will have an entire video about the subconscious mind so you can understand it, know how to access it, know how to reprogram it. So I will leave you with these messages. Every baby is born into a house. There are adult caretakers there. They used to be children, so they got programmed by their previous generation. If you want to make peace with your past, by the way, you need to develop deep understanding about your parents and your grandparents' childhoods. When they were young, they also completely bought into the previous generation's beliefs, behaviors, habits. Therefore, the way to make peace with your past and forgive any kind of abuse coming from your adult caretakers is to understand them as children. I will help you with this process. I'll be holding your hands every step of the way. You need to know today which beliefs, which outlooks, which behaviors, which values you inherited from the previous generation. Write these down. Write down your coping mechanisms, how you were getting along with the environment of your immediate family when you were growing up. Understand that your software program, your subconscious mind, got totally programmed by the time you were 7 to 9 years old. Your programming was done. So, what were your coping mechanisms? How did you buy love? Tell me about your parents' values about money, sex, whether they felt they deserved to have the best that life offers. Did you get unconditional love? What did you see in the mirror of your parents' eyes? Plus, the school teacher, grandparents, any other significant adults. Do you have healthy boundaries? Do you have an inner life? Can you enjoy sweet solitude? If you did not have any of these things, you may have an emotion called toxic shame. Don't worry about any of this. I will be giving you tons of techniques so you can cleanse your subconscious mind. All of what I said today comes from a very comprehensive self-development course called Coming Full Circle. Look at the video description for more comprehensive information. Stay tuned, because there are going to be many, many more videos covering every topic that has to do with the healing of any self-limiting beliefs, emotions, and habits that may be keeping you from enjoying the best that life has to offer. God bless, Godspeed. This is Kambiz Naficy.